Women don't get hooked on men by luck. They get hooked on a set of actions. The question is, are you ready to learn it? This is not a love story. It is the truth. For years, you have been told a lie that women fall in love with goodness, with hard work, with giving up things for them. You believe that if you gave her your time, your loyalty, your love, she would stay. But look at the pain you carry. She left you for the man who gave her nothing. She left the man who did everything for her, but she could not stop thinking about the man who barely did anything. Why? Why does she leave the good man who gave her everything, but can't stop thinking about the man who gave her nothing? What secret rule explains this mystery? The truth is harsh. Wanting someone is not built on fairness. Wanting someone is not earned like money or traded like a deal. Wanting someone is born from pressure, from power, from the hidden pull that no act of kindness can create. Women do not get hooked on men because of luck or fate or romance. They get hooked on a rhythm, one you never learned to play. You tried to buy her love with gifts, with words, with always being there. But every action only made you weaker. She did not see your giving as love. She saw it as needing her. And needing her kills respect. The man who does not give her certainty becomes the man she cannot stop chasing. The man who says no, who holds back, who stands strong becomes her obsession. This video will rip open the lie you have lived under. It will show 5 rules that explain why women get hooked on certain men and why good men, men like you, are thrown away without mercy. These are not clichés, not recycled advice, not unclear encouragement. They are rules carved out of human psychology itself. And when you understand them, you will no longer play the role of victim in love. You will become the center she cannot escape. Here is what you will discover. The answer to the mystery. Why the good man is left while the cold distant man is wanted. The exact strategies of power that turn respect into obsession. The forgotten truth of man's value. Why it has been hidden and how to bring it back. The hidden law of giving and taking in love, and how to reverse the imbalance that has always crushed you. And finally, the most important truth, the way to end her control forever, to cut her strings, and to become untouchable. Every part builds toward the final key. If you stop halfway, you will remain trapped in the same cycle, giving more, losing more, begging for what should never be begged for. But if you stay until the end, you will hold the formula that flips the entire game. You may fight these words at first. They will go against everything you were taught about women, about love, about yourself. But ask yourself, where has the old teaching taken you? To heartbreak, to betrayal, to being invisible in your own home. You were the good man. You played by the rules, and you were destroyed by them. The rules were never made for you. They were made to keep you blind, to keep you predictable, to keep you weak. But now the mask is off. You will see what women cannot admit but always follow. That their addiction is never to kindness, never to sacrifice. It is to strength, to mystery, to the man who does not bow down. Stay until the end of this video. Every truth is a blade that cuts through lies. And the final one, the end of control, is the strike that breaks your chains forever. The countdown begins now. Part 1, The Mystery of Love. The more you give, the faster she leaves. The less he gives, the deeper she falls. This is the mystery that hurts your memory. You gave her everything. Your loyalty, your protection, your patience, your love. You sacrificed, forgave, and twisted yourself into knots to keep her happy. And yet, she walked away as if none of it had value. The cruelest part, you watched her run straight toward the man who gave her nothing. No security, no sacrifice, no love. That sight hurt you more than betrayal. It broke the rules you believed controlled love. You thought hard work secured loyalty. You thought sacrifice earned respect. You thought fairness shaped wanting. But reality struck you down with a harsh truth. The more you give, the less she values you. Why? Because certainty kills wanting. The moment she knows you are hers without question, her hunger dies. The moment she sees you as predictable, her obsession disappears. Your endless giving choked her. Not because she wanted less, but because you erased the mystery, the challenge, the uncertainty that fuels attraction. And what about the so-called bad boy? He is not worshipped because of cruelty alone. He is wanted because he cannot be tamed. He does not bow. He does not over-explain. He does not sacrifice his identity for her comfort. He says no. He holds back. He stands unmoved by her storms. And in that resistance, she feels the uncontrollable pull of addiction. She is not addicted to him. She is addicted to the tension he creates inside her. You thought love was built like a contract, that if you put in enough effort, she would give back. But love does not follow contracts. It follows hunger. And hunger only exists where there is distance, risk, and uncertainty. Look at your scars. Every time you tried harder, she pulled further away. Every time you forgave, her respect disappeared. The more you demanded fairness, the more she hated you. And when she finally left, you stood broken, asking yourself, what invisible crime did I commit? That crime was not neglect. That crime was not cruelty. That crime was being predictable. You became too clear, too available, too easy to have. You gave her everything. And in doing so, you erased yourself. Type paradox if you have lived this unfair game. The truth is harsh. Women are not addicted to love as you define it. They are addicted to tension, to uncertainty, to the swing between closeness and pulling away, between approval and denial. They do not crave the man they own. They crave the man they cannot fully capture. They crave the storm, not the peace. And when you offered only peace, she ran to the storm. But this mystery is not a command to become cruel, controlling, or heartless. It is a call to reclaim your center, to stop bleeding for approval, to stop trying to earn what cannot be earned, to master the art of being present without surrender, closeness without begging, power without apology. Understand this. The mystery is not meant to embarrass you. It is meant to wake you up. You were told that relationships are built on fairness, that effort equals love, that sacrifice guarantees loyalty. But love is not math. It is not measured in balances of give and take. Love is hunger. Love is power. Love is tension. And unless you face this truth, you will remain the thrown-away good man. But the mystery is only the surface. What truly keeps her addicted is not kindness, not fairness, not sacrifice. It is power. The strategy that enforces respect and forces her to invest. That is the next truth. Part 2, the strategy of power. Respect is not given. It is enforced. You have spent your life believing respect is a reward. That if you are kind enough, patient enough, forgiving enough, she will eventually honor you. But look at your past. Did your sacrifices bring respect, or did they strip you of it? Respect is never given freely. Respect is carved. It is enforced through boundaries, through control of your own reactions, through the silent gravity that reminds her you are not hers to command. The psychology is simple but harsh. Women are drawn not to the man who kneels, but to the man who stands unshaken. Why? Because boundaries create tension. Silence creates mystery. And resistance creates obsession. Think back to the time she controlled you with her silence. She held back affection, ignored your calls, took away her warmth. You felt powerless. You chased, you begged, you explained. You played directly into her hands. That silence trapped you. Now imagine reversing the game. Your silence, not hers, becomes the weapon. Instead of explaining yourself endlessly, you pull back words and force her to face the emptiness. Instead of chasing her moods, you remain immovable, allowing her to feel the weight of your absence. Instead of reacting to every emotional storm, you stand like stone, untouchable. Suddenly, the power shifts. She is no longer the puppeteer. You are. This is not cruelty. This is discipline, the ability to enforce respect by refusing to play her game. She tests you with emotional chaos because she craves resistance. If you crumble, she hates you. If you remain firm, she respects you. And respect is the seed of wanting. Here are the exact behaviors that transform power into pull. Boundaries. When she pushes, you push back. When she crosses lines, you do not forgive endlessly. You enforce consequences. Silence. When she demands approval through chaos, you do not feed it. You remain quiet, making her question herself. Control of emotion. You refuse to fight her on her terms. You do not beg. You do not chase. You act with precision, not desperation. Challenge. You never allow her to feel she fully has you. You remain just beyond her grasp, so she is always trying to hold you tighter. Every one of these is a weapon, and every weapon cuts into her illusion of control. Comment strategy if you're tired of unclear advice and want exact tools. But power is not only about defense. It is also about presence. A man without boundaries is invisible. A man who reacts to every storm is weak. But a man who masters silence, who knows when to hold back, who enforces respect without begging, becomes unforgettable. This is why women stay addicted to the men who defy them. Not because cruelty is attractive, but because defiance creates gravity. Women cannot resist the pull of a man who refuses to circle around her moods. But understand this, power is not the final goal. Power without value is tyranny. Power without substance collapses. To make your strategy unbreakable, you must anchor it in something deeper. Your own masculine core, your true worth. Because power means nothing if it comes from emptiness. That is the next truth. Part 3, the masculine value restored. She doesn't chase the man who serves her. She chases the man who stands above her. You believed your value was measured by how much you gave her. You thought the more you sacrificed, the more she would love you. You thought loyalty, patience, and love were enough. But your history has already answered. They were not. She did not see your sacrifice as strength. She saw it as weakness. She did not interpret your service as love. She interpreted it as surrender. The truth is harsh. A man's value does not come from serving. It comes from standing, from being unshaken in who you are. From being a force she cannot bend or own. From showing strength, independence, and self-command. Look at what happened after your collapse. After betrayal, after divorce, after abandonment, you felt invisible. You questioned whether you had anything left. You doubted your worth. But invisibility was never the absence of value. It was the absence of strength. The moment you allowed her to define you, you erased yourself. What restores masculine value is not giving more, not chasing harder, not proving endlessly. What restores masculine value is returning to your center. The center that does not revolve around her moods. The center that does not break under her silence. The center that stands immovable like stone while the storm rages around it. She does not crave the man who bends. She craves the man she cannot fully conquer. The man who gives from fullness, not from emptiness. The man who chooses to love but never out of desperation. The man who can walk away and still remain whole. Think of this. Women are not addicted to comfort. They are addicted to power. Not their own power, but the gravity of yours. When you stand as the immovable center, she cannot resist circling you. She may fight. She may test. She may rage. But she will not leave. Because deep down she is drawn to what she cannot break. This is why your masculine value matters more than any gift, any word, any sacrifice. When you are unshaken, you show what every woman craves but will never admit. A man who does not need her. A man whose identity is not defined by her affection or her approval. A man who remains sovereign even in love. And sovereignty is what she respects. Sovereignty is what she chases. Sovereignty is what she cannot live without. Your emotional wound whispers that you are powerless, that you must beg, that you must prove, that you must fight to be seen. But the truth cuts deeper. The moment you stop proving, the moment you stop begging, the moment you stop explaining, you become visible again. Not as the servant, not as the victim, but as the man she cannot escape. If you want to reclaim your masculine core, type value below. The thinkers who understood human nature all return to the same law. Strength attracts, weakness pushes away. Schopenhauer called it the will. Nietzsche called it the will to power. Jung called it individuation. Each in their own way showed the same reality. That a man's worth lies not in how much he bends to the world, but in how fully he stands as himself. This is the masculine value you must restore. The part of you that cannot be negotiated. The part of you that does not seek permission to exist. The part of you that does not crumble when tested. Once you stand in that value, you stop being invisible. You become the center around which the game turns. You become the force she cannot resist because you no longer seek her approval. You command it. And when your value is restored, the next step is inevitable. To reset the scales of love itself, to end the one-sided bleeding and force her to invest in you. That is where we go next. Part 4, The Law of Giving Back. Love dies when only one side bleeds. You learned this the hardest way. You bled for her. You carried the weight of the relationship on your shoulders. You poured in your effort, your patience, your forgiveness, your money, your loyalty. And what did she give in return? Pulling away, coldness, betrayal. That is because you were trapped in a false belief that love survives on sacrifice alone. You believed that if you kept giving, she would eventually be moved to give back. But she was not moved. She was fed. And the more you fed her, the less she respected you. This is the law you must face. When love flows only one way, it rots. Wanting cannot survive in a one-sided exchange. Attraction cannot survive when she invests nothing. Respect cannot survive when you demand nothing. You felt invisible because you erased the scales. She gave nothing. You gave everything. And the imbalance destroyed the very thing you wanted to protect. The secret to restoring balance is not in begging her to give. It is in forcing her to. How? By tension. By boundaries. By refusing to bleed unless she bleeds too. By making sure that for every piece of effort, every drop of affection, every moment of closeness, there is a price. When she gives nothing and receives everything, she feels entitled. But when she must fight, when she must invest, when she must bleed for you, suddenly she values what you give. Suddenly she fears losing you. Suddenly the relationship becomes real. This is the psychology she will never admit but always follow. People value what they pay for. And women are no exception. If she pays nothing, she values nothing. If she pays with her time, her affection, her loyalty, her effort, she becomes addicted not to you alone, but to the cost of keeping you. You have been told that true love asks for nothing. That is a lie designed to trap you. True love demands giving back. Without it, there is no love, only exploitation disguised as romance. Think of how drained you felt when you were the only one fighting. Every apology came from you. Every compromise came from you. Every sacrifice came from you. You bled until you were hollow. And still she demanded more. Now imagine the reversal. Every silence of yours forces her to speak. Every pulling away of yours forces her to invest. Every step back from you forces her to step forward. That is when she begins to pay. And when she pays, she stays. Right balance if you're ready to flip the scales. The law of giving back is not about cruelty. It is about survival. If she wants your presence, she must give her devotion. If she wants your protection, she must give her loyalty. If she wants your time, she must give her respect. If she refuses, then she loses the privilege of you. This is not negotiation. It is enforcement. You are not asking her to be fair. You are making her be fair. Because love without giving back is slavery. And you were never born to be a slave. But understand this, balance is not the peak. Balance is only the midpoint. The true top is control. Not only flipping the scales, but holding them in your hands so they can never tilt against you again. And that truth, the end of her control, is what comes next. Part 5, the end of control. She controls with silence, pulling away, and chaos. The moment you stop reacting, she loses her drug. You thought she was addicted to you. She was not. She was addicted to control. The power to bend your emotions. To make you chase when she pulled away. The power to watch you crumble under the weight of her silence. That was her drug, not your love, not your devotion, not your presence. You have lived this game before. She ignored your calls. She froze you out. She erupted in chaos just to watch you react. And every time you reacted, you chased, you pleaded, you fought, you explained, you fed her addiction drop by drop until she grew stronger and you grew weaker. But here is the truth she cannot face. Her control exists only if you allow it. The strings she used to pull you were never tied to her. They were tied to your reactions. The moment you cut those reactions, the puppet collapses. Imagine this. She tries her silence and you remain calm. She pulls away affection and you do not chase. She erupts in chaos and you do not move. Suddenly the script fails. Suddenly she has no drug to consume. Suddenly the addict shakes because what she fears most is not your anger, not your begging, not your devotion. What she fears most is your indifference, your refusal to play the game, your cold silence in the face of her storm. That is the death of her control. You were once the puppet, but now you are the one holding the strings. You decide when to speak, when to act, when to pull away. You decide whether she bleeds for you or loses you. You are no longer her captive. You are the master of the board. Type control if you refuse to be her puppet anymore. This is the highest rule. Untouchability. The state where her tricks no longer reach you, where her silence is powerless, where her pulling away is meaningless, where her chaos is noise, not command. When you reach this state, you are free. You no longer fear her leaving because you know your value does not depend on her presence. You no longer fear her games because you no longer play them. You no longer fear her control because you no longer react. This is what Freud called the freedom from the unconscious. This is what Nietzsche described as the man beyond morality. This is what Jung saw as individuation. The moment you stop living in her shadow and stand in your own light, it is the moment you become sovereign. And sovereignty is what she cannot resist. A man beyond her control is a man she will chase forever. A man who cannot be controlled is a man who becomes her obsession. Not because you feed her.